Hello, hello. Welcome back. My name is Danae Wolf, and I am a financial clarity coach and a profit strategist, which means that I help entrepreneurs like you increase your profits and decrease your stress by taking control over the money in your business and stopping allowing it to control you. Yes, it is possible. And my goal on this tiny corner of the internet is to help educate you guys on financial literacy. I genuinely believe that financial literacy can not only change your company, but change your life. And if you guys are on a journey toward financial clarity, I'd love to see you join my group coaching program, Profit Perfect. Profit Perfect is your one-stop shop for all things small business finance. In the course, we dive into LLC formation, S Corp election. How do taxes actually work? I teach you guys how to read your profit and loss statements, how to read a balance sheet, and I even teach you guys everything you need to know about QuickBooks Online. One of the coolest things about Profit Perfect is that you are able to go through the course at your own pace, but we include weekly Zoom meetings with myself or a member of my team. This way, you're able to sign on and get face to face with me and ask me any of your burning financial questions. It is a call that we do every week outside of some sort of family emergency. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But I find it to be a really great time to just have a money meeting. We can have a meeting of the minds as fellow entrepreneurs and really fine tune our financial skills because I believe it's a life skill that many are lacking. So if you are ready to get some financial clarity in your life, please check out Profit Perfect. You can head over to thechiccfo.mykajabi.com/profit perfect. Now, today we are going to be talking about how to charge your clients. And it's something that I really think is often pushed to the side. I think in the entrepreneurial community, we spend a lot of time on all of the fun things, right? So we spend a lot of time in Canva, right? We want to make sure that all of our branding is beautiful. We want to make sure we have these gorgeous websites and we're really creating this brand and image. And because those items are the more fun, exciting things, a lot of the back end items tend to kind of be an afterthought. And I find that this is one of the areas in the business that tends to be an afterthought, and it's how you charge your clients. And I want to be really specific, guys. I'm not talking about how much you should charge your clients, okay? That is a training for another day. What I'm speaking about now is the logistical way and how you charge them. Like, how do they actually pay you? So, when we are talking about anything when it comes to small business finance, you guys know my method, right? We're going to keep it simple. I genuinely believe that accounting is already complicated. So we don't need to do anything that's going to make an already complex matter even more complicated. So whenever possible, we want to keep it simple. And in order to make sure that you're charging your customers correctly, you want to have a system, okay? You don't want it to be that a new client is brought on and they say, okay, how can I pay you? And you say, well, how do you want to pay me, right? We don't want to give them so many options because the more options that they have, right, the more complex your accounting workflow and process is going to be. And when we overcomplicate things, that is when mistakes happen. And when we're talking about mistakes happening in business, one of the worst places for that to happen is in the area of charging your clients, because guess what? We could just completely not charge them at all, and now you did work and didn't get paid. We could overcharge them, and now you're damaging your reputation and hurting your client. Or we could even miss it and not report it, and now we've really pissed off Uncle Sam. So this is an area of business where we really need to make sure that there's no mistakes. So we don't want to overcomplicate it, okay? We're not going to complicate it. We're going to keep it simple. And I think a lot of times there is this fear that we need to give our customers as many options as possible to pay us, or they're not going to pay us. That's not the case, okay? If they want to work with you, right? If they want to work with you, they're going to make sure that you get paid. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out and get some, third-party payment processor that nobody's ever heard of, that your best friend's neighbor created and no one knows how to use it. No, let's stick with the basics. So let's talk about the ways in which you can charge a client. You can ACH them, which is literally the money. You have to get like the bank account information, their routing information. You can let them pay with a card, or you can let them pay with a check. Now, I am just going to give you guys my personal thoughts on this, right? There is no right or wrong here. It's whatever works for you and your customers that's going to be efficient. But what I will tell you is when it comes to ACH, typically those fees are going to be less. Okay. So whenever we are charging our clients, whatever the system is that we choose to charge them, whether we're using QuickBooks Online or Stripe or Square or Authorize.net, there's going to be fees associated, right? So if you ACH someone, it is a lower fee. When you charge them with a card, it's typically about a 3% fee. When you charge them via check, there is no fee. The other option is for them to do wire transfers to you, which is similar to them doing an ACH, but with the wire transfer, there would also typically not be a fee in some situations, or a very minimal fee. But here is what I want you guys to understand. You don't want to overcomplicate this just to save a buck, okay? We want it to be easy for your customers to pay you, okay? Which means we don't want to give them too many options, okay? We don't want it to be a situation where you're like, you can pay me with Cash App, you can pay me with Venmo, you can pay me with PayPal, you can pay me via Stripe, right? That's too much, because now what we've created is when you sit down at the end of the month to determine how much money you made in your business, you now need to check Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Stripe. That's crazy. It's not efficient. We don't need to give them a million options. And a lot of times what I see is two things. Number one, entrepreneurs give a ton of options for a customer to pay them because they are scared that the client just won't work with them. So that's how we end up with companies who are like, you can pay me with Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. They have all these options, right? It's coming from a place of fear that if I only accept PayPal, then this customer is using Cash App. Now they're not going to work with me. That's not the case, okay? I just ordered a cake for my daughter's birthday. She said she uses Cash App. I said, hey, I don't use Cash App, right? I don't use Cash App. And she was like, well, I'm not set up to take payment in another way. You're going to have to use Cash App. I didn't cancel the cake just because I didn't have Cash App, because I wanted to hire her, right? And I have to respect that that's what she wanted to use. So we have to be able to make decisions in our businesses, not out of fear, right? We have to do what is best for the business, okay? So I don't want you to come from a place of, I need to have a million different apps for them to be able to pay me. No, keep it simple. So that's the first thing I see. Out of fear, we're now allowing people to send payments via Venmo, via PayPal, drop it off on our doorstep, right? We don't want to do that. We want to have a very set system of how people can pay us. The other thing that I see is entrepreneurs not making decisions of how they charge clients based on fear that, the client needs a bunch of options, but I see you guys just trying to save a buck. And that is where I will see, well, I am switching my merchant. Well, let me explain that. Your merchant is the credit card processor, right? So that is an authorized.net, a Stripe, a Square, a company like that, the company that actually is processing the credit card payments and then putting them into your bank account. So I will see people who are just constantly changing merchants because they're like, oh, well, I saved a point here. I saved a point here. The fee is lower, the fee this, the fee that. Don't stress about this fee, okay? And I think that people get so lost in this thought of, oh my gosh, it's 3%, it's 3%. And I'll be honest, I came from a franchise background. That was my first company where, I had 7% go out the door. So I think, I can admit that I'm a little bit jaded with this because I don't fully understand the noise of the 3% because we want to do what is efficient. So when I sell Profit Perfect, they check out through my Kajabi website, and Kajabi offers Stripe. So they pay with their credit card right on there, and then I have to pay a 3% fee. I have seen people who use Kajabi but say, I'm not going to charge you via Kajabi because instead I'm going to manually invoice you so that you can send me a check or a wire transfer because I don't want to pay the 3% fee. And I challenge you to think about what could be happening in your company in the time that you are taking to do all of this manual process and complicate the process simply because you're trying to save 3%, right? So we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Let's be efficient. For me, people can go to my website, check out on the spot, and buy the course. If I didn't want to deal with that 3%, the process would then be that they would have to go to the site, say they want the course. I'd get an email. I'd have to contact them and say, let's get the bank routing information. You can send it here. We can do. Now it's like, hey, I might even lose them because people in this day and age want everything fast, right? So I don't want you guys to just make your life chaotic to save a buck. And I can hear some of you already saying, well, Danae, it's not a buck because, I do $1 million in revenue and 3% is a big deal. Listen, it to me, and again, this is my personal opinion, the same way that I just think taxes are a part of life. And when you make money, you pay taxes. I think when you have a business, you pay merchant fees, right? Now, when you have a business model that supports you doing ACH, I think that's wonderful because in my company, when we do our virtual CFO services, we do set those up on ACH because it's something that in our workflow, we're able to do for our clients. So they don't have to lift a finger. And it's something that we do one time and it's set forever. So it's very efficient for us. It doesn't disturb our customer and we save a little bit of money, right? But when it came to Profit Perfect, it didn't make sense because it was going to complicate the workflow and complicate it not just for me and my team, but for my customers. And it wasn't worth saving that money, right? So I really want you guys to sit down and say, okay, how are customers currently paying me? And guys, if it's all over the place, okay, if you are one of those people who says, people pay me on Venmo, people pay me on Cash App, people pay me on PayPal, people pay me with actual cash, and people are sending me checks, girl, no. I want you to take a step back and I want you to look at the areas people are paying you. So I want you to log into your PayPal. I want you to log into your Cash App, go into all the areas and say, which one do I like working with the best, right? Which one? And that's going to be the one you use. And what I would suggest you do is if you are someone who is using, Venmo Business or, PayPal or something like that, and you are using multiple of them, I'd like you to just take it down to one, pick a lane and stay in it. And then maybe have just one other option in case somebody says, I don't have PayPal, I don't have Cash App, I don't have Venmo. So for somebody like that, you do want a link where somebody can just type in their credit card number and pay and not have to set up an account. Okay. But we don't need it to be that your life is overcomplicated because at the end of the month, you're logging into 10 places to see how you've gotten paid. I mean, guys, I have literally seen somebody say, well, my Stripe account is for my courses. My Square account is for my products, right? Her physical products. And that's a lot when you're logging into 2 different merchant services for that. And then on top of it, people can pay via PayPal and Cash App. It just starts to get complicated. Okay. We don't want to overwhelm our clients with too many options, but we also want to have a standard of the way we do business. And, if you do business with me, it means you're either going to enter in your bank account and routing number to this secure link I've got, or you're going to pay me via PayPal. You're going to have to set up a PayPal account, right? You teach people how to treat you, right? And that's a little bit dramatic in this example I'm talking about, but we have to train our customers to understand, like, this is what it means to do business with us, and this is how we charge you. And if they're not okay with that, then they're not going to hire you. But if somebody doesn't want to hire you over the way in which you are choosing to run your business and simply charge them the fee that they have already agreed to, guys, you probably dodged a bullet because they're probably going to be a difficult client. So if you guys take anything away from this training today, I want you to sit down and say, what are all of the ways in which I allow clients to pay me? Okay. And if that list is long, I want you to shorten it. I want you to shorten it, and I want you to have a process in place. And make sure you're not making decisions based out of fear that a client's going to be mad. And make sure that you're not making decisions based out of trying to save a buck, right? We are going to look at it as what is the most efficient, right? And we are going to keep it simple. You do not need 10 different ways for somebody to pay you. You just don't. So I hope that this was super helpful. And in closing, I'm just going to tell you my personal suggestion. This is in no way, a type of endorsement for them or anything. I'm just telling you in my personal experience, I'm not getting, this isn't like an affiliate pitch or anything. I very much like Stripe. I'm a very big fan of it. I think it works really well. I think their reporting is very user-friendly. And I would strongly suggest you guys take a look at Stripe. If you have any type of a website where people are checking out, if you're using Kajabi, if you have digital courses, anything like that. I also think that if you are using a point of sale system, so maybe you're using ZenMaid, right? Maybe you're using Made Central. I also suggest that you don't try to back end it to use a different payment processor than the one they recommend with it, just because you're trying to save a buck, right? Because you're just going to complicate it. Let's not try to say, well, I'm going to use this invoicing, but I'm going to use this merchant provider, and I'm going to take all these various things that weren't intended to work together, and I'm going to force them to work together because I'm trying to save a buck. Don't do that. But look into Stripe. I absolutely love Stripe. And I find that when somebody is checking out on your website, if you have an option for Stripe, they're going to put in their credit card number. And if you want to, you could throw PayPal in, because I will tell you, as an accountant, PayPal is a little bit tricky. It's not the best user-friendly in QBO. So if you guys are using PayPal, I definitely suggest you work with a professional such as myself each month to get your books closed. But PayPal is convenient from the customer's perspective. I can tell you, when I'm online shopping, I see the PayPal and I'm like, boom, I'm clicking in because I know all my data in there is, safe and secure. So Stripe and PayPal tend to be a good combination that I see, but I do just strongly suggest, if you're using Stripe, go ahead and hire a professional, because their reporting can be a little bit tricky. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this training. Let me know if you're like, wait, that's me. I do have 10 different ways that I accept payments. I let people give me an envelope of cash, a check, a Cash App, a Venmo, a PayPal. Let me know if that's you. And if you have any questions on how you can improve that, shoot me a DM. Okay, I'm right on Instagram at the Chic CFO. So the CHIC CFO. I'm happy to answer any questions, help you guys like kind of think through it. But high level, keep it simple, guys. Don't overcomplicate it. I'd love to see your comments down below. Even if you're catching the replay, please just write hashtag replay. And frankly, guys, I ask you guys to do that to help with the algorithm. The more engagement there is with my trainings, the more they will share them with other entrepreneurs like you, so you can help me on my mission to spread financial literacy. I hope this video was beneficial, and I will see you guys next week for another free training.